Greetings to my dear freedom-loving friends around the world. This article shares the author's viewpoints as a GTV investor regarding why the investment decision was made, who Mr. Miles Guo is, what NFSC, the new federal state of China is, what crimes the CCP has committed, why the CCP is the biggest threat to the US and the world, what fate the human race is facing, and what new era the NFSC is leading the globe into, etc. The CCP is the root of all evil. The CCP is the root cause of all disasters. The Chinese people are not equal to the CCP. We are awakened Chinese people and determined to take down the CCP. An open letter to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Author, Renee Lee, March 31, 2023. To whom it may concern. In April 2020, I invested in GTV Media Group Incorporated during its first private placement. However, shortly after, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission launched an ongoing investigation against GTV Media Group. GTV Media Group fully cooperated with the SEC, spending over $5 million to present over 1,000 legal documents. The SEC had even taken company cell phones which contained chat records of its investors. Despite all this, the SEC collaborated with the local Chinese police and dispatched its law enforcement officers to China to detain GTV investors. These investors were then coerced to commit perjury, with threats of imprisonment, disappearance, or even execution of themselves, their family members, and relatives on charges of conspiring with foreign powers and selling out their country. Having gone through almost 17 months of so-called investigation, on 9/13/2021, the SEC instituted and simultaneously settled cease and desist proceedings against GTV Media Group Incorporated, and took a fine of $539 million for this settlement, given that there were an absolute zero wrongdoings by the GTV Media Group. 4 months after the settlement, on January 31, 2022, the SEC published a notice of the proposed distribution plan. The proposed plan provided that the distribution of the fair funds shall be made to those investors who purchased the eligible securities during the relevant and suffered recognized losses. 2 months later, on April 7, 2022, the SEC issued an order approving the proposed plan of distribution and posted the approved plan of distribution. 5 months later, on August 12, 2022, the SEC issued an order approving the disbursement of $77,915,851.58 from the Fair Fund for distribution to eligible investors. In summary, the SEC spent 17 months gathering evidence of perjury and successfully recovered $539 million. They then spent another 12 months devising a distribution plan that allocated less than 10% of the total investment amount. Currently, only 5% of investors have received half of their investment funds, and 95% of the investors' money is still held by the SEC without indicating when it will be dispersed. Shockingly, on March 15, 2023, over 100 FBI agents raided Mr. Miles Guo's residence on the 18th floor of the Sherry Netherland Hotel in New York City and took him to court after over an hour-long interrogation and body search. On the same day, the SEC announced charges against Mr. Miles Guo. All of the SEC's allegations against Mr. Miles Guo were unfounded. As an investor and a U.S. citizen, I'm extremely disappointed and indignant towards the SEC's investigation process, their use of forced perjury, the delayed disbursement of funds, and blatantly lying by the SEC during the past 3 years. I want to share the following viewpoints regarding my investment in the GTV Media Group, why I made this investment decision, the brilliant achievements of the GTV platform, the significance of the new federal state of China to the Chinese people, the significance of the new federal state of China to the world, the world's recognition of the new federal state of China, questions to the SEC, to be continued. This is the end of the first episode. See you at the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye now.